How's it going? Today is 13th of August, Tuesday, and we are taking a look at the market, what kind of opportunities we can find. Today, there's so many press releases, perhaps 10 or so. I don't know how much in detail we can go into uncovering all this information and how accurate this information is going to be, as well as in perhaps worth mentioning my own agenda coming into this, right? I would like to bring more attention to some of the sectors which I think there might be promising opportunities. So while bringing attention, I will be offering word of caution as well. So that's my agenda, I guess. Since what I think and perhaps what government thinks is completely different, two different things, right? If we were to take a look at current UK's government, they have their own agenda, right? So if I'm looking to introduce and or bring more attention to different sectors, I need to offer a word of caution. I'll be sharing some examples when it comes to where things are right now, but not necessarily would be a good reflection of where things gonna be in the future. But that would be, I don't know if that makes sense. Well, perhaps it's one way to doing it, right? We can take a look at perhaps a good place would be take a look at the UK's job numbers and on market where the figures are as of now. We can start from there and work our way to what government is doing, as well as we can take a look at some of the examples from personal experiences of what education is and our STEAM subjects and opportunities within STEAM. And from STEAM subjects, we can progress and take a look at some of the particular niches. Let's structure today's video in this particular way and see if we can cover everything in necessary detail, right? In the first video, we can take a look at UK's unemployment rate drops, but wages growth slows. Germany's economic outlook breakdown, business life. Okay, so we can take a look at perhaps how strong UK's economy is, as well as the UK's government is looking to get everyone working, right? Current figures of economically inactive people. So those people not necessarily doing and or paying taxes for what they're doing, right? So I would be interested in taking a look at those numbers. I believe it's close to 10 million, 9.5 or so million of people who could potentially be paying taxes, right? And government can be doing whatever they want to do with that capital, right? So I think that's what's important. But either way, we can touch on UK's job rates has dropped to 4.2%. But we can take a look at these numbers before progressing to the next article. Introduction to UK's jobless rate drops. So before reading it, we need to understand the definition and know how where things would change from person economically inactive to person without a job, and what is the time to swap things around, because this is the statistics and they're messing with the definitions, I believe. So for how long people need to don't have a job for him to become economically inactive. So they're messing with definitions. Well, all the governments are doing this. All governments. I'm not saying this particular government is doing it. All the governments are doing. So I think entire market is about 9.5 or close to 10 million. So that's the entire market of people economically inactive. This particular statistic, and we can perhaps take a look at it, but again, definitions and these numbers are a mess, massive mess. Economically, Miss had expected to rise from 4.4% to 4.5%, but according to our official Office for National Statistics, 91,000 fewer people were unemployed in the quarter, taking a total down to 1.4 million or so. Unemployment picked up by around 95 or 97,000 people to 33 million. Just over 33 million people are working and paying taxes, right? Which is always a good thing. Let's progress to the next article. As well as we can take a look at the other article is something that was published today. That will be in case unemployment falls slightly as pay growth slows. Growth, so people slow. Again, we're doing double speed, right? So potentially increase in pay. That's not happening. Pay is not increasing. How much people are getting paid is not increasing, right? But people are working, so that's always a good thing. So we're doing double speed. With that, we need to acknowledge this, and we can take a look at some of the numbers, right? But it's constantly fluctuation, starting with 2020, and the unemployment rates potentially is staying at 4.2%, right? Again, I don't even know if these statistics are accurate, right? Because there's a lot of things that was happening in UK, and I don't know what things are they taken into account. And if I'm presenting this information, I need to understand this. But either way, let's progress to the next article, right? We can take a look at different article that potentially is taking a look at the similar information that would be job market uncertainty causes headaches for Bank of England rates, etc. Right? I think people who are worried about this trend, I like to hear feedback that these people who are worried about banking and all these kind of things, I think is perhaps more accurate information than it. Some of that information of more people getting into work. Well, overall economic picture looks relatively, again, words, unnecessary words. We're wasting time with unnecessary words. Begin deep structural problems remain. So again, structural problems, I guess, good. Since no one gonna be looking at the structural problems, we're gonna talk about it, and no one will do anything about those since current structure. I can briefly touch on the structure and the way how things have been structured as of now. They always been this way, and most likely these things that myself I can bring more attention when it comes to structure will stay the same way, right? Since that's the people that we are voting for, and they prefer, I guess. Otherwise, they will make changes to this particular structure, right? We can take a look at only read this article, and I haven't read it. It might be important information, and perhaps we can bring more attention. Headlines. They're making some good points. I don't know if this article would be able to offer accurate information on where things are. It, same article. I think it's published today's date. I'm just looking to find the date. I think it's today's date. And we can take a look at the potential this market. And according to Bank of England, who is managing the movement of money, and they bring in attention that British labour market is cooling with annual earnings growing easier market and all numbers of job vacancies falling for 25th month in a row. Yeah, okay. I don't think it's accurate information, but either way, or is it? Okay, yes, exactly. Perhaps this person has a point. The numbers of people in working climbed by almost 100,000 in the 3 months to June, while the jobless rate fall from 4.4% to 4.2%. Exactly the same information so far. I agree with this person, right? The picture is confusing. Exactly. It's meant to be confusing, by the way, to say the least. But look closely at the latest bulletin from Office of National Statistics, and some theme stands out, right? So far, this person is nailing it. I'm afraid to admit it. One in the three is no evidence of a wage price spiral. Annual growth in the total earnings, regular pay plus bonuses was 4.3% in the 3 months to June. That's down from 5.7% in the 3 months to May, and a half. That would be 8.6% according to June 2023. Okay. So there's a lot of information. I don't want to make it confusing, right? So in the way how this information presented, perhaps this person has a point. So far, the way how some of the information meant to be confusing, right? Part of decrease was due to last year's high NHS bonus payments not being repaid, but there was still a fall in, I don't know, earnings growth from 9.8% to 5.4%. Once the impact of bonuses is stripped out, pay deals seem to be reported in a fall in inflation back to the Bank of England of official 2% target in May and June. I don't think this particular statement, I don't think is accurate. If you would ask me, inflation is up by some people are saying 25%. I think it's even higher. I would say inflation is up way higher. I don't know about what kind of 2% this person is talking about. Since we're talking about confusing information, right? So how much more things are expensive in stores, right? How much petrol is more expensive than it should be. So someone is making a lot of money, and we're gonna be touch on that. We're gonna cover that. Who is making all that money? By the way, we're gonna be taking a look at, and this person, whoever written this article, this person knows it. Let's take a look at other articles, right? So we're just wasting time. If they're reporting information in this particular way, we're wasting time, right? Since we're taking a look at systematic changes, right? And there's a lot of protests and all this kind of things, right? We can briefly touch on systematic and what kind of changes and the new government and people looking to adapt. Not only that there's going to be less international students, what kind of jobs some of those people will be able to do, including engineering, communication, telecoms, all these kind of jobs. Not necessarily those roles will be available for everyone. So those jobs won't be available for everyone. So not enough that there's going to be less students, and who is going to be picking up and who's going to be doing, since we are looking to address systematic changes. And we're going to be looking to address 9.5 or so economically inactive people. This is government's targets, right? This is a very important statement. I don't know if I need to repeat it, but this part is very important, right? International student, we have been so demonized. No wonder Britain losing us. I don't know if this particular. I don't think anyone is demonizing anyone. I don't think that's. But I mean, it's very. no. But either way, so statistics, right? 50% decline in international enrollments. So by half, right? So perhaps there are already less international students. So someone else gonna have to do those jobs. Here we go. And if possible, I said it previously, I would say again, study remotely if you would like to. Consider options to learning skills. If you can remotely, you don't need to travel and pay for all these kind of things. You can do it remotely, and by studying remotely, if you would like to, then there would be less things happening with locals, and there might be a lot of pushback from entering into communities and bringing your own culture in different communities, right? Let's take a look at next article. Some of these articles would say that entire market, it means 9.2 million people aged between 16 and 64 in UK are not in work nor looking for jobs, right? Or in other words, more than fifth of UK's adults not looking for work, right? So that's where the gap would. Since we're taking a look at systematic changes, right? And we're looking at now systematic changes. Perhaps jobs might be created to those particular people, right? If the jobs will be created for these particular people and they're not looking for work, someone gonna have to work. I don't know. So we'll take a look at systematic, right? And I think numbers are 9.5, so close to that. But either way, so that's a rough overview, right? Let's take a look at this issue from different direction. That will be education. Let's begin by taking a look at how we can support more women in STEAM subjects, right? That would be first the recipients of Asian UK Sage Women in STEAM scholarships. So it's great that the government is doing it. when it comes to offering scholarships for more women in STEAM subjects. I think STEAM is something I was taking a look at previously, as well as that will be very important for UK. Hopefully, UK is looking to address systematic changes, so perhaps more British nationals would be working, I guess, instead of foreigners working. I guess that systematic changes, as well as we're gonna be taking a look at scholarships offered to women, not necessarily based within UK, but even small steps, right? So let's take a look at perhaps some of the statistics, right? That would be after highly competitive scholarship process with so hundreds of students from across all Asian countries. That would be timer lastly apply for UK. And delighted to recognize 10 outstanding women as our first successful scholars. These talented individuals share, sure, uh, a passion and a vision to make a difference throughout the STEAM field where women are traditionally underrepresented. So we're looking artificially inflate opportunities, right? So since we're gonna be creating unequal opportunities for women only, so this is what we're doing, by the way, artificially inflating opportunities, so creating more opportunities for women compared to men, which is great, always great, right? Women account for only 29.2% of STEAM workforce globally, despite representing almost half of the non-STEAM unemployment sector. So this is a statistic and what I was interested in. So that was the World Economic Forum, and they would say close to 30% of women. Since previously I was taking a look at only 10%, which I think, depending on location or geographical location and all different choices that women can make. I was comparing to school teachers where they can have all summer off, as well as, I don't know, perhaps 2 weeks off during the 9 months. So preferences where more perhaps women would choose as things like having more holidays instead of working, where in STEAM subject more women would prefer being school teachers where they can do nothing, quote unquote, for 3 months during the summer to or so, perhaps even 4 weeks during the rest of the 9 months. So many holidays. Why would you prefer working, right? Let's take a look at this article. That would be perhaps. So we were taking a look at unemployment. We were taking a look at education. Now let's take a look at some of the sectors and perhaps potentially very promising sectors, right? But it's something that we're going to be addressing in just a second. But let's take a look at some of these examples. That would be Gloucestershire, youngster, hoping to inspire others to join aviation industry. Let's try to understand. I haven't read this article, right? And that will be at Gloucestershire Airport. There's the person's name has position for aviation since the age of 14. So this man can't wait to start work. There should be more people like this. That's a perfect example of what we're referring to. How much this person is gonna get paid is something we're gonna be looking to address in just a second. But this person is working. That's always good. I haven't read this article. I don't mean to present this information in a very particular way. If anything, that should be inspiring story for this sector within UK, that will be aviation sector, and hopefully there will be more people who are gonna pursue this sector. Once that been said, how much people are getting paid in this sector, we're gonna touch that on that in just a second, and we're gonna be taking a look at US market when it comes to aviation and how much people are getting paid in the US, and from there we can reflect how much this person's gonna get paid, which is I wish it would be better, but this is perhaps something that everyone would need to understand, right? From the age 14, Gloucestershire apprentice, let's skip names, he always has a huge passion for aviation. It all started when he became involved in a charity based in Gloucestershire Airport, attending, perhaps people, if they're interested, they can reach out to this particular, I think it's charity, but that means it's a non-profit. In other ways, that's how I would consider it non-profit. And this person is looking to gain some experience, hands-on experience, perhaps 200 hours or perhaps because of his age, so not necessarily he was employed, but he gained some experience, right? Which is very important, very valuable in the marketplace, right? Attending AIM high performing with a flight to help. It was there that the new 20-year-old. Oh, okay, so he's of age right now. 20-year-old Levis was given. Oh, okay, and I said his name. Given a chance to carry out a hands-on task on the demonstration engines, including the moving covers and all changing spark plugs, right? So he gained hands-on experience as well as definitely gained a lot of hours, right? At the time, Levis was too young to join Skyborne and innovative flight school that has gone global, but now his dreams has been met after completing first apprenticeships. Great, that's potentially a process for everyone who are interested in this particular sector, as well as there are different initiatives. I was taking a look at within Southwest. There are, I can perhaps I shouldn't be promoting those organizations, but there are a lot of options for people who are interested in this particular niche, right? Joining Skyborne Fleet, supporting in July 2022, one of the biggest achievements Levis has achieved from a very young age is to complete 4 out of 14 exams to become a licensed aviation engineer. Something Skyborne has described as one of the youngest apprentices to get this stage. Perfect. So we have engineer, right? So many opportunities in this sector, right? So it's the only thing we can acknowledge at this point, right? So many opportunities. From there, let's take a look at how much people are getting paid. Something that was published recently that will be the pay to top city bosses at record high, right? And I think it's constantly moving. These numbers are constantly increasing, by the way. But either way, heads of the UK's most valuable companies are being paid more than ever before, with average chief executive paid more than 100 times that the average worker, according to analysts from a high-paying central think tank, right? So more than 100 times. So if you are a person who is putting together an engine, right, and a person who is telling this guy to put together an engine, the guy who tells to put the engine together is getting paid 100 times more. That's the only thing I'm looking to touch on. From there, let's progress and take a look at the example, and we can take a look at aviation, and that will be something that was recently in news articles after the company named Boeing. That will be a US-based company, and they're taking a look at the aviation sector. And let's take a look at hard data and how much people are getting paid in this company, aviation sector. So potentially that would be U.S. article, right? So CNN. So it's not necessarily been written by someone from UK, right? As well as entire pay package is a little bit higher, and perhaps there's other benefits that will come with the pay, right? Not necessarily just money. Other things can be car and or parking and or office space, perhaps more that could be added to a pay package. But either way, that will be shareholders of embedded airplane maker Boeing approved the pay package of nearly 33 million for outgoing CEO. There's the name the company's annual general meeting on Friday. That's the highest package ever paid to company CEO, and a 45% increase, 45 from the 22.6 million he received for 2022. 45%. Okay, and we have this guy in Gloucestershire who is finishing his apprentice, putting together engine, right? Which is very important, by the way. You don't want to fly without the engine. You don't want to fly without the door. You don't want to fly without the engine, right? And someone's getting paid, potentially in 1 year, or the increase of 45%, right? From there, we can progress to unions, right? And it's something that I managed to find in the last 16 years or so. How much, what would be a pay rise for people working for Boeing, right? We can. This article was something that was published some time ago during the parliamentary hearing in U.S. They have raised some concerns that I don't know if it's accurate, right? So that will be in my own words, and I'm rephrasing it. In last 15 or 16 years, pay rise for 26,000. I think it was way perhaps 32,000 or so employees got a pay rise of 1%. So this is how much people got increase in their pay, right? Which is, I guess, okay. Boeing CEO offered the largest worker union wage increase and other incentives for a new labor contract, but the union called the proposal insulting as a step on the track to go on the strike earlier September. It's way back to 16 years ago, right? Boeing proposed a pay rise of 2.5% the first year and 2% in each of the following 2 years. But the International Association Machinists and Aerospace Workers, which represents 77,000 Boeing workers, back then. So I think it's market's way bigger right now, right? So perhaps more thousand of people, as well as how many parts have been outsourced. I think out of those planes, about 85 or so percent of those planes been manufacturing in other countries, and only perhaps some of the parts been assembled within U.S. So there's a lot of things, right? So we're not necessarily would have enough time to unpack everything, but only as of now we're only concentrating on how much our friend in Gloucestershire, who's doing his best, by the way, gonna get paid for something that he's doing compared to what our market prices are, right? What potentially where things are. I don't know. Should we touch more on some of those companies and like Boeing and their performances with some of the astronauts being stuck in the space right now? Some of those flights that had to be done for 8 days or so. It happens to be 8 months now. So company itself, I guess there's a lot of issues with the company and company structure, right? So I thought I'll touch on it, and let's close on that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.